In the early hours of Christmas Eve 1945, a fire destroyed the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. 5 children vanished without a trace. What happened that night has baffled investigators, historians, and true crime enthusiasts for decades. Today, we explore the chilling mystery of the Sodder children. George Sodder emigrated from Italy in the early 1900s. He was a hard-working man, skilled in construction, who believed in honesty, faith, and family. Jenny, also Italian, was a devoted mother, nurturing and deeply religious. The Sodders had 10 children. George Jr., 21. Jenny, 19. Louis, 17. Martha, 16. Maurice, 14. Betty, 13. Alfred, 12. Sylvia, 9. Francis, 5. The youngest twin, 5. The family was close-knit. George had spoken publicly against Mussolini and fascist Italy, a bold stance in their community. Jenny was careful to protect her children and uphold family traditions. Christmas was especially important to her, a time for family, prayers, and celebration. Neighbors described the Sodders as a happy, hard-working family. Life seemed ordinary, until tragedy struck. On December 24, 1945, the children were getting ready for bed. Around midnight, George heard unusual noises outside the house. A car engine was idling nearby, and some neighbors reported seeing headlights in the area earlier in the evening. Then smoke appeared in the rear of the house. George tried to investigate, but the fire spread rapidly. George and Jenny managed to escape with George Jr., Alfred, Sylvia, Francis, and the youngest twin. They ran to a neighbor's house, hoping the remaining children had escaped too, but Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty were nowhere to be found. The fire completely destroyed the house. Charred remnants remained, but strangely, no remains of the missing children were discovered. This would become one of the first mysteries in the case. Local authorities initially considered the fire accidental. They suggested faulty wiring, a Christmas light short, or overloaded electrical circuits. But George and Jenny noticed odd details. No remains of the missing children despite the intense fire. The ladder used by the family to escape was missing. Suspicious vehicles had been seen near the home, including a green car that sped away shortly after the fire. Phone calls in the following days contained cryptic messages. Some callers implied knowledge of the family's situation. By January 1946, George was convinced the fire had been deliberately set. The family reported every lead, but the investigation stalled. In 1949, for years after the fire, the Sodders received a letter postmarked from Kentucky. It read, "Your children are well and happy." The sender was anonymous, and authorities could not trace the letter. This reignited George and Jenny's hope but provided no concrete leads. Over the years, multiple sightings were reported. Children resembling the Sodders were seen in New Orleans, Florida, and even Cuba. A woman claimed to have recognized the children in a Kentucky school. Other reports suggested the children had been taken to live under new identities. None of these sightings could be confirmed. Despite the Sodders' relentless efforts, the fate of Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty remains unknown. Many details of that night don't make sense. No remains were found in the ashes. The family ladder disappeared. Strange phone calls and an anonymous letter hinted at the children being alive. Witnesses reported mysterious cars near the house. With so many unanswered questions, several theories have emerged over the years, each trying to explain what could have happened. While none can be confirmed, they help us explore the possible fates of the Sodder children. Theory 1: Political revenge. George Sodder had been outspoken against Mussolini and fascist Italy during the 1930s. Some believe this made him a target for retaliation. Reasoning: the fire might have been deliberate, and the disappearance of the children could have been a message or punishment. Evidence: reports of suspicious vehicles near the house that night, cryptic phone calls afterward, George's known political views. Skepticism: there's no direct proof linking the Sodders' political stance to the fire, but the timing and circumstances make this theory plausible for some historians. Theory 2: kidnapping for ransom. Another theory suggests criminals intended to kidnap the children for money. Reasoning: the 5 missing children could have been the target of a planned abduction. Evidence: strange vehicles and unusual activity around the house could indicate surveillance. The anonymous letter claiming the children were well and happy might have been related. Skepticism: no ransom note was ever sent, and no contact with the family was made to demand money. If it were a ransom plot, it seems to have failed entirely. Theory 3: illegal adoption or human trafficking. Some researchers suggest the children were taken and raised under false identities. Reasoning: children in mid-20th century America could be illegally adopted or placed in other households, especially if organized networks were involved. Evidence: numerous unverified sightings in other states, including Kentucky, Florida, and even Cuba. The 1949 letter implies someone knew their whereabouts. Skepticism: there is no confirmed documentation proving the children were adopted or trafficked. Sightings may have been mistaken identities. Theory 4: accidental death in the fire. Some skeptics argue the children did die in the fire, and trauma distorted the parents' memories of events. Reasoning: fires can be disorienting and chaotic. The Sodders might have misremembered the number of children or the sequence of events. Evidence: 5 children were unaccounted for after the fire. Fires at the time could cause total destruction, leaving little trace. Skepticism: investigators later concluded the fire's intensity alone could not have completely incinerated 5 children. The total absence of remains challenges this theory. Theory 5: long-term disappearance and survival under new identities. Some believe the children may have survived the night of the fire and grown up unaware of their origins. Reasoning: if they were taken by strangers or placed in new homes, they could have lived as new identities, never knowing they were part of the Sodder family. Evidence: unconfirmed sightings and reports in various states hint at this possibility. The anonymous 1949 letter suggests someone knew of their survival. Skepticism: no verified sightings or contact has ever been confirmed, making it impossible to know if this theory is true. No matter which theory is closest to the truth, one thing is clear: George and Jenny Sodder spent the rest of their lives searching for their missing children. They never gave up hope, even as decades passed without answers. If you enjoyed this content and want more chilling unsolved mysteries, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. And stay safe out there.